And welcome, everyone. I'm Pat Bates. I am the treasurer of the San Fernando Valley Arts and Cultural Center. This is an exhibit of our SCORE project. We are a nonprofit arts organization based in the San Fernando Valley, northwest of Los Angeles. Years ago, before the pandemic, we had a brick and mortar gallery, and needless to say, the minute the pandemic hit, that was the end of that. So we've transitioned into putting on about 6 online exhibits every year, and they've proved to be not only good, but fairly successful, and we enjoy doing them. So that said, I will say welcome, and we have our juror. Oh, and let me introduce Adria Becker. Not only is our juror, she is a board member of the San Fernando Valley Arts and Cultural Center. And we also have attending Ken Ronnie, who is our Vice President Emeritus. So that said, I'd like to turn it over to Adria for a while, just to talk about the process of jurying this show, which is really an amazing show, and I'm sure it was very difficult. And I will shut up and stop sharing and let you talk.
Okay, thank you. You don't have to ever shut up, Pat. Yes, it was fascinating, quite frankly. There were so many, oops, I lost my Zoom here. Hang on a second. That's the beauty of technology. Yes, there were lots of fabulous entries and many different mediums, which is a challenge to try to compare a photograph to a painting, for example, to sculpture and pottery. So to narrow it down to the invitees was a challenge because there were so many good pieces. There were no bad pieces. There was nothing that I went, ew. Everything was terrific, different. It was really exciting to look at all that work and look at what people are doing with, a classical human form. One of the oldest things that people tried to draw. And there are so many different beautiful pieces. Did I say that word before? It's possible. And it really was fun. I was just going, wow, how am I going to narrow this down? And it was almost impossible. Yet the board told me I had to, so I did. Pat, would you like to play us through?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with honorable mentions and go backwards through them, God willing, to get to the best of show. And if you would like to say a few words about them as we go through there. So let me start sharing again. And I'll just need a second to kind of adjust the window for it. I haven't done one of these receptions for what, two months now? I forget everything.
No problem. We're with you.
All righty. So there we go.
Yeah, this piece I just thought was so was kind of amusing and serious, and the manner is that it's painted in is so much fun, but you can see that it's a very serious subject matter, and I like the way the artist treated it. It's very graphic. You notice there's a face over there in the bushes and people lurking in the background, and her expression. But it's also painted in such a playful way. It really gets your attention. It was very different than a lot of the other pieces because it's so unrealistic. It's kind of a fantasy, and I appreciated that.
We don't have Vanessa here, so I'm just going to keep moving backwards through them.
Okay.
Or forward as it may be.
Yes, this artist took what is very sentimental subject matter and made it quite beautiful with his lighting on this. It's not everything is spelled out, which is nice because the viewer can participate visually and you assume what's going on, that he's looking out the window. It's just white, but you can, by the boy's expression, you can see, and also that having the animal looking at you. I'm not a big fan of cutesy, and he took what is a very cute subject matter, but made it graphic and beautiful and wonderful handling of the paint. There's some very loose areas which contribute to the whole and to the amount of detail that are in the faces.
You know, I'm looking, that dog looks serious.
Yeah, the dog is serious.
Look at those eyes.
Well, that's because you're walking towards his boy, probably.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what Gregory Radionoff, and
mhm.
Been exhibiting in our exhibits for the last 15, 20 years now, and it's very interesting watching his sons grow up. He's got 3 sons, and he uses them on a regular basis as his models. This is watching his family grow up in these pictures that he enters each year.
That's very nice. Now this piece, as you can see, is totally different. It's 3-dimensional, maybe even 4. I don't know. Are those arms, do they make it 4-dimensional? It's so graphic and so fun. And it also relates to, you know, pottery of ancient ages. And it's also so graphic. I'd like to have this to look at every day. And it was a very unique use, I thought, of the medium. So that's why this one was chosen.
I love that. And we have the artist here with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Adria.
You're welcome. Why don't you
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about how you came to do this with the limbs coming off the pot?
Yeah, well, I typically don't make hand-built pottery. And I will confess, I have made 2 pieces during the pandemic that were fumed hand-built pieces. And I sanded them down and refurbished them, and this is one of them. And I'm kind of like the queen of puzzles. I like to put pieces of things together. My new work is pieces, shards of slate. And the hands that project from the pottery surface are actually broken from discarded figures that I've made, or maybe they accidentally broke. So I save everything. And of course, you know, I had to sand them and use my Dremel so that there was a direct contact with the surface of the pot. And the characters are, as you can see in the Zentango piece, which is also in this show, the drawing, there's a cast of characters that I use. I have a big file, and they, you know, they're noticeable in different pieces here and there. And they are reminiscent of the, is it the Attica Black Greek potteries? And I rarely use glazes, but this was one big experiment. So the figures are actually colored with a satin glaze. And the background, you'd have to look at it closely, is a crackle glaze. And when it's cooled, a black Sharpie marker is applied to the crackle in little sections and wiped off. So then the cracks are, you know, they show, they're more visible. And so it was just one big experiment, and playing around with the limbs, projecting, you know, and again, it was a piece that I did during the pandemic. It was pure play, and it's people emerging from this virus and from their isolation. The other pottery piece that's on my website is called Exodus, and they're kind of flowing out of a smaller opening on the top. So it's, you know, reminiscent of the good feeling, the freedom that we felt when we were able to maybe take off the masks, or at least part of the time, and just carry on with our lives. And I mean, basically, I'm a sculptor. So that's why I had so much fun with adding the, the limbs.
Very, very exciting piece.
Yeah, it came out very well. It's really fascinating to look at it.
I really appreciate that from all of you, because it was just so playful. And as I said, everything could have gone wrong. And it's one of those experiments. I mean, it's not perfect, but I was happy with it.
Perfection is boring. Good,
Right.
good, that's not perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Hi, everybody. I just want to first of all say hi, but also I love this piece because we just came back from the Getty villas and saw the Greek art on the pottery. So I just love this because it's so fun and yet familiar at the same time.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
enjoy
So we've got another Southern California guy here.
it.
Here we go.
Oh, just in time.
And there we go. Adria.
Okay, this is so beautifully graphic, and the colors are so rich. And the bubbles do such a nice thing on the figure. There was some photography that was entered, and it's very interesting to try to decide amongst the different types of pieces. And it's one thing to put a pretty person in a forest and take a picture, and to me that doesn't scan on the same level as somebody actually painting that. This photograph is like a painting, the way that it's composed, the placement on the page, as it were. And I thought it could not be denied. And I like red, I guess, too. I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, red. Yes, it's a beautiful piece.
Do you have anything to say about it, Dan?
Oh, that's Dan. Well, now we know.
There we go. In this particular model, her name is Linnea, and she's a professional underwater model, and she can hold her breath for about 2 minutes, hitting some amazing poses. So it's ironic that she didn't have to hold her breath for this shot. And other than that, I just love the shape of it. When I drop a fabric in the water, and in this case it was a red fabric, but it just causes the skin to almost go white. And the moment I shot this, I said, "Oh, there's something fun going on here." So that's why I particularly like this. But I just love what underwater photography does, because it's total abstraction, and you never know what's going to happen with the light and the shadow or hair or whatever happens. It's always sort of a fun experiment. So this was the result of one of those experiments.
And it looks like you love what you're doing.
It beats working every day.
Do any of us work every day anymore? I don't know. Beautiful,
Yeah.
Dan.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, here we go. Dan, what we're doing, we're starting with the honorable mentions, going backwards to best of show. We discovered we have 3 artists here from the Pacific Northwest, 1 from Connecticut, and 1 from Santa Paula visiting Baltimore. How'd I do?
Wow.
You get an A, Pat.
Thank you. Here we go. Second place.
Yes, I thought that the light source, that's also a window or a door with just kind of vaguely stated. It doesn't have to have a doormat outside or a tree or anything. You just get where the light is coming from. And the angle of this I thought was fascinating. And I love the way that the floor is treated. It's just very loose and painterly. You can feel the brushstrokes on that, can't you?
They look like a palette knife too.
Yes, it could be palette knife too. I think you're right.
And it looks to me like we do have the artist here. Brenda.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Adria.
You're welcome.
So yes, correct. Palette knife and brush.
And
And
it's only 8 by 10, and you managed to say an awful lot in it. I think it's great.
yeah, thank you.
The angles really make this. It's fascinating because nobody who would think to do that. To do that angle, but you did it, and you see you feel that man doing that on the floor. It's really interesting. Was it all palette knife?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
Some.
The angle is so captivating, really.
Yeah.
Yes. The
Down.
angle, and again, the light source, which shows on his back and his head. It's really cool.
Okay.
I would love to see this one in person because this is really big. It's 65 by 30. And the point of view on this one is so fascinating because it's kind of simple, and then it gets more and more detailed and even more detailed. And this is a portrait of the artist. And I think it's interesting that she sees herself like this too, because most of us, when we do a self-portrait, we want it to look like us. This is all the things she's interested in, it looks like. It's got multiple media in it, and all those colors, and the hair is just wild and fantastical, and the pattern in the clothing and outside the clothing, the whole canvas is addressed. There's not a wasted space in it. It's quite beautiful, and I bet in person it glows. And do we have the artist with
Yeah,
us?
We have the artist.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would say that it is life size. So I'm 5'5".
Perfect.
So it's
Wow.
it's life size. And it is I would use the words, it's my somatic experience of myself. So it's is rather than rather than interest, I would say it's my inner sense of how things feel inside.
It shows.
Yeah.
It shows your reaction to the world around you. I'm curious where the metal leaf is. Is that just the little pieces of gold leaf?
Metal leaf, yeah. If you see, let's see, around the legs, in between the arms and the figure, like
Okay.
above the white flowers, there's metal leaf. And then all up in, like from the hair coming down, there's like a rain of metal leaf confetti bits that are in there.
That's basically highlights,
Sorry?
basically highlights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I
the
don't know
highlights
about
are
that.
in the leg maybe, but everywhere else it's shapes,
Mm,
bigger shapes. It's very,
Yeah.
very strong work.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I see a bug in it,
Beehive.
a little
You see-
flying insect.
Yeah. Well, they're all bees. Like the whole upper part of the figure is bees.
Oh my
Mhm.
God, that is so amazing. That is
That's
so
good. There's a
amazing.
lot of bees.
a lot of
There's
bees.
a lot, there's one bee that just stuck out, but now, yes, and I see the little hive cells, and that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I mean, if you were to zoom in close, you would see that everywhere you see a black dot, that's the thorax of the bee. So those are all bees.
Britt,
Okay.
I'm curious, do your other works have similar feel, or is this sort of a unique piece?
I would say that I actually just did a newsletter article about this. I would say that the primary for me is my somatic experience. But sometimes it's like I look at the world and infuse it with what I feel. And sometimes I paint what I sense directly. And so it kind of, I turn the mirror both ways. Actually, if you look at I don't know if you can see my figure, but if you look like my Zoom profile, but behind me are some paintings that I've done of rocks and water that I also do that kind of work as well. Reflections of light and water. So it's not always imaginal, but this was a kind of I would say a breakthrough piece that had to happen. So There it
It looks
is.
like, it looks like it. It looks like a
Yeah.
breakthrough.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and on to the best of show. And I do, the artist is here and Adria, take it away.
Great. There's such a nice feeling on this. You can see on his face that he's really paying attention to what he does. Also, though, the variety of ways that the paint is applied is fascinating because it's very realistic in parts. But the way that the part of the hair and the instrument is handled is so different with its dripping and it's, everything didn't have to be spelled out in this. What's spelled out is quite specific and so moody and lovely. And then the instrument is like a whole other groove, but it works so beautifully together. I think that takes a lot of guts to say, okay, I'm not going to put all the chords in it and the strings in it and all of that. And it's quite well thought out. Also very nice placement that he's off to the side a little bit, that streak of lavender, which is also handled really loosely. It's so strong and it's got so much feeling. I really love this piece.
It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you. Carol, would you like to say a few words about this?
Yes, thank you so much. I feel so honored to be chosen for this. Yeah, this was my uncle, and he was a professor of music and a member of the symphony in San Diego. And it's from a photo. It just captured his gentleness and his spirit. I thought, I just wanted to capture that in here. And so I did originally the first layer was all acrylic. That was the drips and the the background, and then I added everything else is oil on top of that. So I had fun with his expression and his hand, and just that I really like that shadow under his arm and just the shapes. So I had fun making that.
It's
You
beautiful.
can see, I can feel the love you have for him in this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It really transmits a sense of that person. I really just get it immediately from looking at it.
Mhm.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, you feel like you know him.
I was
Mhm.
going to say the same, Ken. Yeah.
That's great. He was such a kind man. So
Lovely.
That is wonderful.
Mhm.
And let's see, I will be getting the prize money out this week for this. Carol, I'll need to get a 1099 because Uncle Sam, and I'll take care of that, any of that paperwork this week.
okay.
I am not necessarily the speediest, so, but we'll get that taken care of. And right now I would ask, do we have some other pieces we'd like to look at? I see Lisa in the here. Lisa, do you have work in the show?
I do. I don't remember what I submitted,
Well, let me find it.
but I do
It's here
appreciate
somewhere. Oh, don't go away.
being considered or looked at even, and just to be able to view what these amazing artists have shown and shared. For me, it's great to get back into doing art after going to college as an artist and then getting a job so I could pay the bills. And now I'm back to being
Isn't
able to
that
afford to be an
wonderful?
artist.
For some people, it takes longer than others to get back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice to be able to have the time to do it, but I've got a long way to go and I'm learning a lot from watching others. So
There
thank
you go.
Yeah. So this was a collage piece comprised of pastel with acrylic, with papers and a hodgepodge of stuff. And I'm just having a lot of fun right now.
And you probably don't throw anything out either, I bet.
No, no. And I've just started, so I'm afraid of the kind of space I'm gonna need to
Yep.
maintain.
Yeah, it's dynamic. I mean, all the different patterns are so much fun, and what's going on the page is so much fun, and the mirror ball, and it's just got a lot happening that it's delightful. It makes you smile, this piece.
There you go. And then the question is, does she say yes?
Aha.
Well, yeah.
And just so you know, I ate at a restaurant tonight and there was a proposal in the
Oh,
restaurant.
wow.
Oh, it must follow you around.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So this is just another one. So these are from figure drawings that I do on a nude models on Tuesday nights. And I cut out the models and then I either dress them, leave them naked, it depends, and then put them in a set.
Oh, so it's like paper dolls.
It's like paper dolls, which I used to love as a child.
Oh,
Yeah, too.
That's wonderful.
I love this one even more when I realized that it was a collage.
Yeah.
It's just so successful.
You have a really lovely sense of color.
I love color.
it's collage and
Does, it
chalk
does.
pastel or oil
Yes,
pastel?
a soft,
Okay.
soft pastel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it works very well together.
Yeah, collage is such fun. I love it.
It is.
Mhm.
I think we all like doing, if it wasn't even paper dolls, it was paper somethings, animals. I'm more likely to cut out animals.
Yes, you are.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to try that
Adrian
next.
knows.
Well, you're the only one with the bug behind you, so.
There you go. Would any of our winners like to share some of their other pieces? I can open up any of the other ones.
Oh, I wouldn't mind showing sharing the Zentango because some of the same cast of characters is in that drawing. And it's not really much of a collage except for the paper in the background with the musical note fragments in it. The rest of it is a drawing.
Let me see if I can find it.
It's black and white.
Was it picked?
It's
I
not an
don't-
award.
I don't
It's-
think it was. I don't see it here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You have a, don't go away. There we go. It's in the S's and not the E's. I found it.
Thank you.
I am relentless if nothing else. Let's see.
Did you did oh,
There you go.
There we go.
yeah, so you may recognize some of them from the ceramic sculpture
Mhm.
that we looked at before. And this started out to be 8 figures. And then it wasn't balanced, so I added another one, and then it needed more balance on the other side. So I just kept adding and adding until finally I said, I think it's done.
What did you use? What kind of pen or pencil or?
I used the Micron, very
Okay.
thin
Got it.
pens.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really amazing.
You're very
It's-
patient.
It's
Yes.
quite large. Well,
It
I
is.
usually work on 2 or 3 or 4 pieces at once, so I kind of, revolve around the studio, so I don't get bored just making these parallel line designs, in the background.
And what is up above the figures?
That paper, I bought at Jerry's Artorama, and it's embedded with fragments from music.
Oh,
Paper.
wow.
And that's why I called it a collage and a drawing. I traced the shape of the background and adhered it. It's kind of a ivory colored paper. But I liked the addition of the musical notes. Because they're dancing,
Very nice.
I think, frolicking.
Okay. Do we have any other pieces anyone would like to talk about?
Is-
If you want to go to, it's called Torso 27, Torso 27,
Whose piece is that?
Damn Cats.
Well, let's find it.
Was there a torso 26 and a torso 28?
Well, actually, there is a 26, but
Oh, okay,
I didn't submit it.
okay. And
That's
28?
what,
is-
yeah, 27. Torso 27 is the name of it.
Okay,
Whoops. Hold on. Don't go away. I'll have it in a sec here.
And only because I have a quick story. Oh, there we go. So there's a particular piece that I like. I'm a fan of Edward Weston, who was one of, I think, the greatest photographers who ever lived, ever photographed. And this was a dancer. She's a professional dancer. And at some point in the shots, I had her with her arms up and sort of moving. And I saw this, and of course, as I said, immediately I felt very I felt sort of channeling Edward Weston's work. And I just like it because it just is such when the body becomes sculpture, then I think it's the most magnificent thing in the world. In fact, I use the term human art in my photography, and I call it human art. But this one in particular, just I enjoyed because it just it felt like someone had taken metal and just crafted this thing. And of course, she crafted her own body too, because she's a professional dancer. But that was one that I just felt very, very special about. And most of the time I like black and white photography. Only do I do color with the underwater, and sometimes I ultimately end up with black and white there. But anyway, that's the story of this picture.
I love how the skin almost feels like drapery too. There's simultaneously like the hardness of steel and the softness of fabric or silk.
It's like silk meets bronze.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Edward Weston, it reminds me of like the bell pepper photos, right?
That's exactly right. And that
Yeah.
is funny. I just did a shoot with a guy a couple days ago, and he's got amazing black skin. And I said, I want to shoot you like Pepper number 30. And Weston, of course, he shot people like peppers and peppers like people.
Yeah.
And so, as I said, that his inspiration just constantly is coming back. I'm not trying to replicate, but it does inspire me. So, yes, and interesting that you remember that. Yes, it's like peppers.
Wow.
Anyway, thank you. By the way, thank you for jurying me into this exhibit, because there's some amazing pieces, and it's wonderful to see figurative art, expressed in so many different ways.
you're welcome, and it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
I have a couple others, but one is called Boss.
Let me find it.
Oh,
Here we
there's
go.
those mosquitoes.
There you go.
Yeah. So I did a whole series of musicians, and most of them are my family members or friends. This is my daughter, as the drum major. So this was handled similarly with the acrylic background and leaving out details and then painting over with the oil.
It almost has a collage effect, Carol. I like that contrast, really nice.
Yeah, I could see that.
I love the the reddish white light on the to her right, to our right, because it just makes it feel so real. I think it's just really interesting that you gave it that tone and separated that out, because it sort of draws my eye but balances it beautifully. It's very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I think you also paint the look on your people's faces is so interesting, and it looks like she's looking at something. She's not 100% sure if if it's kosher. I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that you don't have everybody just looking right off the page. I mean, at you. It's a nice effect that you have.
Thank you. I really love to kind of capture their essence and really focus on what they might be feeling, or I don't know. It's really important to me.
Well,
Carol,
you do it.
I think it's interesting. So you're doing the acrylic first,
Yeah.
and they're kind of flat and almost one-dimensional. And and then they come to life with the oil over the top of that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and I really wanted the focus to be on her, and I like how she kind of pops off the canvas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the rest of them look like they're frozen.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's really amazing.
but I loved painting that tuba. That was fun.
The tuba is not frozen.
No.
That's coming right at you.
Yeah.
That's the other character in the painting. Nice.
What I find interesting is that she resembles you so much. At first,
Yeah.
is this a
Yeah.
portrait?
Yeah.
And you say, oh no, it's my daughter. Oh, okay, well, she looks a lot like you.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Where is she a drum major?
Seaholm High School, but she's going to Western this fall to college. So
Pretty cool.
yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
Well-
more?
Thank you very much, Adrian. You did a really good job on picking pieces for this show.
You did.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're all welcome. Thank you for entering this show. I'm so happy that I had so many beautiful pieces to look at. It was very entertaining, and it was very hard to judge it, but it's spectacular. You did spectacular work.
Yeah.
Thank
Uh,
you.
And we're very happy with I remembered to hit record. So we will have this, and I'm so glad to have Adria here for the whole thing. And also the artists really add something, and I'll have that up on the website. I'll put in a lead in and a little music, and then it'll be on YouTube. So you'll be able to get the link off the website probably Monday or Tuesday.
Nice.
You.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome. It keeps me out of trouble.
Barely.
Great job, and congratulations to all the artists.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.
And
so
Thanks
much.
so much for having this event.
Buddy,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
Thank-
thank you,
I
Ken, for spending part of this Saturday night with us
That's
after.
always fun. And of course, for all the members the artists that are attending, if it's a little bit confusing, what in the world is a vice president emeritus? Well, I was the vice president on the board of directors for about, I don't know, 6 years or 7 years or something. And I had to step down, but they wouldn't let me. So they said, well, we're going to make you vice president emeritus and be part of the board forever this way.
Perfect.
My accounting firm did that to me because I had a big retirement party and I didn't leave. There's reasons for that, but I hung in there for another 5 years or 4 years until I turned 65. So they had me as partner emeritus for the whole time.
Now we know what that means.
Yes.
Adrian, I wanted to say how lovely you harmonize with the painting behind you.
Yes,
You're,
it's
you're
great.
close.
That was purely by accident, I'm sure.
And it was such a pleasure working with Carolyn, I think was the woman who helped me with some
Yes,
technical issues I had.
yes.
And yeah, just becoming familiar with the Fernando Valley Arts and Cultural Center. It's been a real pleasure. And so I'm going to keep tabs on the monthly shows.
Great.
Great.
Bi-monthly.
Thank you so much.
They're bi-monthly, really.
Yeah.
We'll eventually get the title card changed to cover the 2 months. It takes time. Anyhow,
Thank
Well,
you.
good night, everybody.
I'm ready
Thank
to
you
pull the
for-
plug here, so thank you,
I'm
everyone.
pulling the
Good
plug.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Nice
for
meeting
coming.
you all.
Thank you, Andrea.
Congratulations to everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
congratulations,
Congratulations.
everyone.
Brad,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.